Hello and welcome to our Abra Employee Self-Service presentation. Abra Employee Self-Service is a part of our Abra Workforce Connection modules. To get the presentation started, I'm going to go ahead and log into an employee. The employee I'm going to log into is named Nora Chin. Nora is a combination of both an employee and a manager. You'll be able to see that when we log into her home page. If you look at the border on the left-hand screen, you'll be able to see categories to the left in gray for both employee and manager functionality. In the center of the screen is something called the Message Center. The Message Center is the area of the system where we can see communication that takes place between the employees, the administrators, and those employees' managers. To the right-hand side of the screen is an area called FYI. The FYI area, as you see through our presentation, will change from screen to screen. It contains information that helps you navigate through the screen that you're on. It gives you information about the page that you're on, information about the icons that may appear, maybe some hypertext links out to some other areas of the system that may be pertinent to the screen that you're looking at currently. To get things kicked off, first let's talk about some of the employee information. There's employee personnel information that's available, personal profile, address, phone number, emergency contacts. This information comes from the Abra HR system. It comes from the Abra HR core modules. There's an area out here to look at time off and time off balances. This information comes from the Abra Attendance module. There's a capability to go out here and look at payroll-related information. That information comes from Abra Payroll. There's the ability to go out and look at benefit information. This information, again, comes from the Abra HR system. There's employment information regarding compensation and jobs and performance review information. This information also comes from the core module of Abra HR. There's training information that can be made available if you're using the Abra Train module, and there's also information regarding open positions in your organization if you're using the Abra Recruiting Solution module. Information regarding those open positions will appear for the employee here. Now let's go into the employee section and look at some specifics. If I move back up the tree here and I go into the personal profile, I'll be able to view information regarding Nora's record. If I want to make an edit to any of this information, I can go up top here, click on the Edit button, and this will update my screen, allowing me to make specific changes to this record. If you notice, there's an area out here where I can make a change to last name. In this particular example, maybe if you're making a change to your last name, you want to have somebody from HR approve that particular change. Perhaps there's different forms that you may need to fill out because of a last name change. Maybe you need to update your benefits, or maybe you need to go out there and fill out a new W-4. If that's the case, you'll notice that on screens that an employee can make an edit to, if there is an approval process required, you'll see a notice across the top of the screen here in red that says changes do acquire approval. There's a few different forms of workflow available in the employee self-service system. There's specific approvals that can occur where you have managers and administrators approving information before it goes into the core Abra databases. There's also a process of notifications. All of the approvals and all of the notifications are displayed to employees, managers, and administrators in a proactive fashion through email. So when you go out and change some information, or you request time off, or you make some other data changes out there in the system, your manager and administrator will receive an email notifying them that they need to go out there and review your change or review the information that you just got done updating. If we go back out here now to personal information, and if we go down to an area such as emergency contacts, you can see again Nora's information displays itself. And if Nora wants to go out here and make a particular edit, maybe she wants to add a secondary contact, update a phone number, you'll notice across the top of the screen there is no red notification there. So Nora is able to go out into the system, make this particular change, and this information will store itself directly back to the database. The next section I want to talk about is the time off section. This particular area again ties itself back out to the Abra Attendance module. What an employee can do is go out to the time off section. They can view all of their attendance plans, and they can view their exact balances based on their carryover from the previous year, the time they've accrued during this current period, any time that they've taken during this current period. Also, if there's pending transactions out here, you'll be able to see those transactions as well as an available balance. If an employee does wish to request time off from their manager, they go out to this particular icon, they click the New button, and now you have a time off request page where you can go out and you can request various plans that are available to you. You can request specific days off. You can designate the number of hours you wish to take off. Also, if you do shift work, you may want to designate start and stop times. Also, you can put comments in with this particular request. Notice again as we move through the screens how the FYI section updates itself. The information here reflected in the FYI area again is designed to help you navigate through the individual pages that you're looking at. The next section I want to talk about ties out to the Abra payroll system. If you're using Abra payroll, you're able to go out and view direct deposits or checks that you've received through the payroll process. Another great idea is to incorporate a process in your organization such as a paperless payroll. That would be a process where you put everybody on direct deposit, and when you go through your payroll process, rather than printing paper vouchers, you just allow an employee to view their paycheck stubs and their paycheck information directly online. In this particular example, the employee can see a designated list of their checks. History in the Abra payroll is unlimited, so you can display as many checks historically to your employee as you wish. There's also the capability to display to the employee W-2 information. These particular areas of the system are ideal, especially if you have an employee who is trying to get approved for a mortgage or a loan. Instead of them having to go to the payroll department to gather information regarding paycheck stub copies and W-2 copies, the employee can access their information directly here online and print out the information that they need. There's also a category out here under payroll that allows the employee to go out and update the W-4. You see on the screen now, Nora is able to go out and view her W-4 information. IRS rules allow you to make electronic changes to your particular W-4 selections as long as there's a paper copy of a signed W-4 on file for the employee. So because Nora has obviously made some selections already through her paper copy, we have her record set up. If she were to decide to make some changes, she could click on the Edit button, and you'll see that the W-4 form updates itself into a form that can be posted to. Also notice across the top of the screen this approval reminder again, because the payroll department is going to need to approve this particular change before it goes into the system. There's an area out here where the employee can go out and view their current benefits. They can view their dependent and beneficiary setups just by clicking on the link. The benefit information displayed in a way is a small benefit letter that you would normally provide your employee with in a paper format. It tells the employees what plans they participate in, their election or coverage information, how much it costs per payroll, and it also informs the employee about how much money the employer is putting in for those particular benefits. Also note in this particular area, there's a link out here for Blue Cross benefits. Another thing that you can do with self-service is link in outside documentation, perhaps documents and forms that your HR or payroll departments use to manage employee information. You can also link in third-party websites. So in this particular example, if your third-party benefit administrator has a website that the employee can visit for benefit information or savings plan information, you can add such information to the employee self-service section as well too. Next, there's an area for the employee to go out and view employment information. The employee can go out and view compensation information, job information, or performance review information. When the employee clicks into a selection, they can see their current compensation set up. Also, if there's any history with this particular record, if the employee has received any compensation changes, the employee will also be able to view the history if you decide to display that to the employee through their record. There's also a category out here that displays training information. Again, training information ties out to the core Abra Train module. The employee can view their training history, they can view what training classes that they've participated in, they can view any training classes they're currently signed up for, and the employee can also go out here and view training courses that are available. Training courses can be applied to an employee based on the jobs that they perform, based on different programs they participate in, and the idea here with displaying the available courses is that the employee can see courses that are available that tie out to their specific needs and their specific training requirements. This way you don't have a list of all classes that are available that may confuse the employee. This list is specific to the requirements that the employee will have as far as their training requirements. If an employee were to go into a particular course, they would be able to see the detail, the location, the instructor. They would also be able to click an enroll button and enroll in the class. Again, because there's a training administrator that would approve this request, there is notification at the top of this page that this particular request has an approval that goes along with it. This is also a very good example where you may want to have a notification tied here where the approval goes to the training administrator. You may want to have an email go over to this employee's manager letting them know that this particular employee wishes to participate in a training class. There's another section out here where the employee can go out and view open positions in the organization. This again ties out to the Abra recruiting module, so any positions that are designated as available will appear to the employee where they can click in and view information regarding the position. There's also an area out here that displays company information for the employee. The employee is able to go out here and view a list, and you can designate the information that's available on that list. In this particular example, we're sharing employee names, their positions, email addresses, phone numbers, and extensions. This is global information that's available in the HR and payroll system that you can share with your employee through self-service. Next, let's go down to the manager portion. First of all, Nora Chin is a manager, and one of the things that you can do as a manager is you can view your entire organization structure. This information is not just unique to the information regarding direct reports. As you can see, Nora's information here shows that Albert and Virgil are both direct reports to Nora, but as we drill down into this information, you can see that there's also sub-reports that make up this list. You can also see there may be other managers or supervisors that also have reports. Note that Nora is going to be able to see information regarding all of these employees. To look at some specifics here, if we go out to employee information, the thing to keep in mind from a manager's perspective is that you can view just about the same information that you could view as an employee, but you're looking at the information from a manager's perspective. So you can see things like job, compensation information, when an employee is due for their next review. You can post employee notes. You can post notes as a manager directly to an employee record. There's emergency contacts, phone information, skills, licenses, and certifications that can be displayed, as well as time off information and training information that's pertinent to the employee. So if we go out and look at compensation information, we'll be able to navigate through the same such organization tree. First of all, we see Nora's direct reports, and we see a number next to that direct report, which represents the number of people that roll up to Albert. If I drill down into that level, I can see a list of these particular employees as well as another supervisor, Carolyn Hatfield, and it looks like Carolyn has 2 people that report to her as well. If I click into those reports, I go down yet another level where I can find information regarding Carolyn's direct reports. You can also see as I'm navigating through this tree, this search area is updating itself. If I go to this pull-down list, you'll see that I can navigate back up or back down to wherever I'm at in the system. Now, if I were to go out here and look at Nancy's information, I'd be able to view Nancy's compensation information. I can view Nancy's history. And then if I decided to change the view and maybe go into Nancy's job information, note that I don't roll back up the tree. I stay right at Nancy's record where I can click into her information and see her job information as well, and also some of the job change history that's available. Now, if I do decide to go back up, what I can do is just back arrow, scroll back up the list, and go back and view my direct reports. I'm still looking at job information, but this time I do want to view job information for a direct report and go out and look at Albert's record. I can see Albert's information. I can also see Albert's history. Also note that as we go back out to the home page for Nora, there are several different manager requests that may be sitting out here. For example, Virgil Brown requested 8 hours of executive vacation from Nora. There's workflow that incorporates procedures that the managers need to make responses to. Again, the notifications are proactive through email, and they're displayed directly through this message center. There is no need for a manager to navigate through the system to try to find an employee and find a particular area of information to respond to a particular request. Also notice at the bottom of the manager navigation tree, there's the ability to go out here and designate a temporary approver. If the manager is going to be a part of a notification or approval process, if that particular manager should decide to take vacation, you don't want to have the employees waiting for a week or two until their responses get some sort of feedback. So what you're able to do as a manager is designate a temporary approver, maybe another co-manager or your supervisor that you can have designated as the person who responds to these particular requests within the system itself. Some other specific information regarding the employee self-service system. If I log out and go back into a master login, this master login will take me to a system setup. And under the system setup, I just wanted to point out a few things in regards to the self-service system. First of all, in regards to specific login setups, you can see there's detail that you can set up that ties out to the first time an employee logs into the system. It's not as easy as just knowing an employee's ID as well as their last name to get into the application. You can make your system very secure, as well as designating particular security parameters that surround password requirements. There's also specific system settings. You can go out here and view employer setup information. And under the employer setup, this is a great example of how the workflow engine will be configured. And you can see there's all the pages that we just got done viewing, as well as information regarding whether or not that page can be accessed, if it can be viewed, if it can be updated, and if it is updated, is there approval or a notification process that ties to it. There's also the ability out here to make aesthetic changes to the system. So you can go out into the system and you can add your logos and your company names to the system. You can also add your custom content if you want to add web links or file links, and we talked about that earlier in the benefit link example. Another thing that you can also do is go out and customize your menu structures. The system will display for you a menu setup. And again, in the example that we looked at earlier, if we go down to the employee menu, you can see that under benefits, there's a link that we added out here to the Blue Cross benefits. You can see that it is a website, and then it will launch a new window in Internet Explorer if we decide to go view the information. That concludes our first half of our Abra Workforce Connection presentation. This was the Abra Employee Self-Service module. The other module that goes with the Abra Workforce Connection module is the Open Enrollment module. You can click into a recorded example of this presentation through the menu you just went through. Thank you.